Allow me, if you will, to reminisce about the past in only the way that a person in their mid-20s who thinks they're old can. I recently came across a video by Mr. Noble discussing the indie game Total Miner, and it got me thinking of my personal favorite of the early Minecraft quote inspired end quote games, Castle Miner Z. I have incredibly fond memories of playing that game when I was younger, spending hours upon hours shooting zombies as my Xbox Live avatar. And it really got me nostalgic for the days of the Xbox Live Arcade on the 360. My history with gaming was kind of weird. I started on my dad's hand-me-down systems, the OG Game Boy and the NES that I shared with my older brother. From there, we were a Sony household until one of my brother's friends introduced us to Halo, which led to us getting a 360. And because of shenanigans, we are horrible at sharing it, and I was fortunate enough to get my own. And that's where the spark of curiosity of the greater Xbox Live features turned into a fire of love. That sounds weird, holy heck. I remember spending hours just browsing the store, mesmerized by every last game on offer. Now, the games labeled as arcade were great and all. I mean, who can forget Castle Crashers and Dust? But for me, the game labeled as indie games were always the most interesting. From straight rip-offs to barely disguised porn games to somehow being a combo of the two. As a kid that was fascinated by all things gaming and not really having any knowledge of the PC gaming outside of MMOs and Flash games, this was my first experience with the concept of an indie game. Now, as I mentioned, Castle Miner Z was one of my favorite games released like this. Back when I first started playing the game, Minecraft was insanely popular, and the console versions weren't really announced yet. And as primitive as it was, back in the before times of 2010, it was still too much for my mom's aging laptop. Side note on that, I'm not 100% sure why the game never liked to run on that laptop. I played World of Warcraft for hours on the laptop and had no issues, but the second I went to play with blocks, it decided to throw a fit. Back on topic, I'll never forget the day my experience with Minecraft knockoff started. Me and some friends were playing Halo 3. I was garbage in multiplayer at the time, but still having fun, when a D-bag who I associated with for far too long joined our party and started telling us about the wonders of Fortress Craft. From the way he was describing it, to a group of tweens and early teens, it sounded almost exactly like Minecraft. I go and beg my mom to take me to the store so I can get a Microsoft Points card and buy the game, and she reluctantly agrees. I get home, put in the code, download the game, and wow, what a disappointment. Yeah, I didn't like it that much. I was expecting a more Minecraft survival-like experience when in reality it was far closer to creative mode. And looking back on it, yeah, it was pretty stupid of me to expect an exact copy, but in the mind of young me, this was the worst financial decision I'd ever made. Just a few more years, kid. The worst financial decision is coming. That being said, I still played the game, built my fair share of secret bases, even had hidden rooms in those bases, panic rooms as I joke, and this began a semi-long-running and dreadfully unfunny joke where I'd put panic rooms inside my panic room. Though that second panic room did survive my second biggest mistake involving the game, leaving my world open to all players, not just my friends. It'll happen so fast. One minute I'm talking to my friends about how much I didn't want to go to school tomorrow, the next some dude with gamertag and a language I didn't know joins the world and starts placing eggs all over the place. Now, what I should have done was end the game right there and stop the damage, but the younger me was even dumber than current me and tried following him around and deleting the eggs as they were placed. Eventually he got bored and left, not only leaving the game, but leaving me in distress because, again, I was much stupider than I am now. And that was when I finally left Fortress Craft. Now, before I get into the big kahuna that was my time with Castle Miner Z, I want to talk about some of the other games I played under the indie title. And I have much less to say about these. White Noise. It was a Slender the 8 Pages clone. I really only remember playing this one because it had a multiplayer mode and I thought that was interesting at the time. And also, Slender was the first game I tried to play when I started my first YouTube channel many years ago. Avatar Paintball, or was it Laser Tag? There were a lot of Avatar-based shooter games on there, so it's kind of hard to keep track. Not really sure why I played these games. I had Halo, I had COD, I had Gears of War. There wasn't really much reason why I needed a really worse game to hold me over, but oh well. Avatar Drop. I think it was free or something, and it was a nice time killer. Angry Berry. Yeah, I'm not touching that one with a 12-foot pole. I just remember going to a friend's house, and he asked me how I felt about Obama before showing me this. Pixel Bit Helicopter Challenge. The title says it all there. No, Luca, no. So, I used to be a huge fan of Rooster Teeth, and by extension, Achievement Hunter. And probably my favorite show was Rage Quit. I have vivid memories of watching the episode on No, Luca, no, and thinking I could do better than that, and then downloading the game to prove myself right. Uncraft Me. Mostly the same story, but this had suggestive art of anime girls. Yeah, I'm ashamed of myself for that too. There were definitely more that I played, but these are the ones I mostly remember. Now, on to Castle Miners Z. I love COD Zombies, and this was around the height of Black Ops 1 Zombies. I'd spend hours going for high rounds with my friends, always arguing on who would get to keep the wonder weapon, or who would buy the next door, leaving each other behind on 5 via the elevators, and trying to see who could last the longest in the starting area of mode. The point is, I was pretty much obsessed. So, imagine how I must have felt when I found a game that combined the block-based building and survival of Minecraft with a zombie-like experience. I was so enamored with Castle Miners Z that I dedicated myself to becoming as good at the game as I possibly could be. In hindsight, that didn't mean much, just getting the best weapon I could at the time was all that mattered to me. This was very long ago. I don't even think alien weapons were in the game at the time, which meant Bloodstone was the best option. Okay, quick personality test. What do you personally feel is the best class of weapon? For me, it's LMGs. I can't really explain why. Maybe it's just me being an American, but big guns make the brain produce happy chemicals. So I'd pretty much always be running around the world with an LMG, building bases, and yes, those bases had panic rooms. Now, eventually this got kind of boring, and this was when I decided to further bridge my two loves. I attempted to build Kino der Toten in Castle Miners Z, keyword being attempted. It quickly devolved into a mess of a project that was quickly discarded when a friend joined the party. We need to run as far as possible, and that was all it took for us to pack up supplies, i.e. some good pickaxes and enough bullets to kill everything on Earth 12 times over, and start running. We didn't know why, our friend just told us it'd be worth it, and sometimes that's all you need to hear. And look, I know the game isn't that much of a looker, but to me, the different biomes we saw on that journey will always be some of the most jaw-droppingly wonderful views I've ever seen in a video game. The massive mountains, the ice biome, the infinite wealth of the resource biome, and just straight up hell. It was amazing to me, and I still count it as one of my best gaming moments. But eventually, as all good things do, my time with Castle Miners Z came to an end. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. I tend to have this problem with games where I play them for a while and say to myself, that was fun, I'll play more tomorrow, and never touch it again. And as I get older, I find myself doing this more and more. Maybe it's because I have more responsibilities and less time for games. Maybe it's because I found my comfort games. Or maybe it's something else entirely. Back when I was an Xbox gamer, I was pretty much in middle school and high school, for the most part too young to have a job, and growing up lower middle class meant that allowance wasn't exactly a thing, and chores were done because they needed to be done rather than in exchange for money. My point being, I couldn't just buy a different game. If the one I chose was bad, no, I had to squeeze every bit of enjoyment out of it that I could. And now that I'm a grown adult that's been working for several years, I find myself much more willing to discard games that I don't enjoy and just moving on to something else. It's funny actually, I have access to more games now than ever before, and yet I mostly play the exact same ones. World of Warcraft, Fallout New Vegas, TF2, hell I'm still playing Black Ops 3 even with newer COD Zombies experiences out. Honestly, that's part of the reason I started this channel. You may have seen the live streams I've done on the channel, and while they're mostly for Black Ops 3 and The Stick of Truth, I want to have an excuse to play more games. Delving into the backlog I have in my Steam library, share those experiences with people. Just have fun playing games regardless of how weird or bad it can be, like I did when I was younger. Sorry for rambling. As I said in the beginning, I was going to reminisce about this kind of stuff in a way that only someone in their mid-20s can. But I'd like to leave you with this. A few years ago, I booted up Steam, tried to play CSGO or something to kill time after classes, when I found something. You've seen the gameplay in the background, so it's no shock I found Castle Miners Z available to play right here on the PC. Naturally, I bought the game again and had a similar experience. played around for a bit, and logged off, content with my little nostalgia trip. As I read the script, I'm re-downloading the game. Depending on how far I get in my playthrough between now and when I record the voiceover, there might be another live-action Rowan segment, but we'll see. So, yeah, I played for a few hours and holy crap, that was a nostalgia trip. Though, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the game right now. I'm kind of feeling the way that some people say they feel when they log into Minecraft for the first time in several years. And I know I'm using the game a lot, but it's kind of the best comparison I have. Seeing some new features that I don't know how to feel about. I mean, in this case we have like lucky blocks now, we have those spawners, we have dragons, we have alien weapons. It's kind of insane to kind of have to rediscover it. Though, that being said, there's always going to be some things that will remain the same about the game to me, and those being things like, you know, the sound of the zombies spawning that always terrified me when I was a kid. The sheer joy of just running from the spawn out to one of the faraway biomes several thousand blocks away. And of course the annoyance of the skeleton archers. Or the fact that the LMG is the best gun in the game. You can fight me in the comments. It just feels weird, because I enjoyed myself, but I also didn't. I don't know if that's nostalgia making me enjoy it, or if it's just it was actually a semi-well-designed game. But yeah, as I close this game, I'm mixed. I was hoping I could end this video on a happy note with it, but after spending the time playing the game, some frustrations came out that I probably looked past when I was younger. I don't know. I'm still very glad that I played through the game again. It was kind of nice. I'm just flip-flopping all back in here. Thank you for sticking with me and my rambling about games that most of us were probably happy we had forgotten, and some that we may have some weird nostalgia for. Until next time, I've been Rowan, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Okay, sweet. I attempted to build Kino Der Toten. I attempted to build Kino Der Toten. Why can't I say that right? It's like the most iconic zombies map. Played around for a bit and logged off, content with my little nostalgia strip. Nostalgia strip, oh my god, no god no.